During the Second Anglo-Afghan War of 1878 to 1882, in the formidable Battle of Maiwand, an 18-year-old daughter of a shepherd named Malala snatched victory from the jaws of the British Lion. In the scorched plain of Maiwand in southwestern Afghanistan, the temperature was over 90 degrees Fahrenheit at 10 a.m. and rising. Around noontime, in the height of the heat, the British infantry units commenced their intense volley fire against the advancing Afghans. The Afghan soldiers and villagers began to fall like leaves. The Afghan army's left flank fell back and some began to flee. Malala was providing cups of water to thirsty soldiers when an Afghan standard-bearer in front of her was shot dead. She ran and picked up the banner and shouted her Lande, a Japanese haiku-like poem. "Oh, young love, if you're not martyred in the Battle of Maiwand, know that you're kept alive as a symbol of shame." She kept screaming her poem and waving to the retreaters to return to their line. The troops, hearing her, turned back to the line, shouting, "Freedom or death!" Commander-in-Chief Prince Ayoub, having observed the break of the left flank of his army, ordered his Afghan-made guns to be moved out of the main ravine to higher ground. Malala turned her head back and saw the row of Afghan cannons starting their sequential fires. She heard someone shouting her name in the midst of screams, crackles of rifles, and deafening sounds of cannons. She slowed down and saw her fiancé Zalmay far behind her shouting, "Wait for me! Wait for me!" She stalled for her fiancé to catch up. The battle's cacophony was piercing her ears and tearing her poetic heart. Zalmay made it to her side, shouting, "Let me run in front of you to clear the way." Only a few yards had they run facing the enemy when a salvo of English guns started cutting down the Afghan soldiers on their tracks. An anti-personnel cannon shot tore Zalmay's shoulder and chest. A drop of his blood landed on Malala's cheek as he fell. Malala reached and knelt by his side, wiped the blood from his handsome face, kissed his forehead, and closed his fixed, staring eyes. She stood up straight and cried out loud from the bottom of her heart, "A drop of my beloved's blood shed in defense of motherland sits on my face as a beauty spot, turns garden of red roses ashamed." Malala continued to sing her Lande. As more soldiers were hearing it, a bullet pierced Malala's heart and she fell to the ground. In the British camp, Afghan cannons had raised havoc on the British artillery and cavalry ranks. The British gun carriages were being driven wild and confused, turning their escape from this inferno into an infamous rout. As the crimson western horizon began to pull down the veil of dusk to hide this horrific scene of men's savagery to men, of blood and gore, Prince Ayoub declared victory, and Malala was named the heroine of Maiwand for perpetuity. Malala, Joan of Arc of Afghanistan and the Victors of Maiwand by B. A. Zikria.